All right, cool. So good afternoon. My name is Kim Ware, and I get the pleasure of being your instructor for COM 115. This is interpersonal communication, and really we're going to be looking at communicating with another person. But the concepts we're looking at, the foundation we're building, it has far-reaching applications to your personal life, your professional life, and small groups, and even bigger, dare say, organizational communication. So this is a really fun time, and I hope that you're excited to get into this as much as I am. A little background about me: I have been teaching at the college level for about 15 years. I love teaching interpersonal communication. My other bread and butter course that I enjoy is small group. It's not offered at Bryan, but I'm sure hoping it's going to come out at some point. We have some other courses in the hopper, though, a 300 level course that's going to be coming up, and that's pretty exciting too. Let's see, I am a mom of four. I'm also a homeschooling, work from home mom. I've been married for about 18 years to my high school sweetheart. We lived in Arizona for a really long time, originally from Kentucky, and now we find ourselves in Denver. So if you are in a warmer part of the country, feel sorry for me because it's cold here right now. It's not like the tundra of the upper north, but the mornings are really cold and it gets sunny in the afternoon, but it's a lot colder than Arizona. So poor Kim. On the upshot, I did get to buy lots of new clothes. So, I mean, win some, lose some. So let's get into this course. The first thing that I want to do is just show you the course. I know you've had a chance to look at it, but I just want to highlight a few things for you. So I'm going to share my screen. So when you look at COM 115, this is what you see when you open our course homepage. I want to encourage you, this tab here, live events. So if you're ever in question about, wait, when are we meeting? This live events tab has office hours, which I don't technically have because I'm generally always available. So it's just contact info. And then it has when the first and the second live event are. You have your yellow dig button here. Each week you can see what is required of you with links you can check on. I'm going to show you the announcements in a moment, but in the announcements, I also post like a week one to-do list that is a little more condensed than this. Sometimes I feel like looking at this square is a little bit overwhelming. To actually get into VitalSource and read the chapters, you'll click on read chapters 1 through 3, or later on, whatever chapter it is that you're working on. Here you can also see where you can complete the Learn-Its. If you're opening it on a phone, you can complete it by clicking on the same link. Sometimes, if you haven't noticed already, the phone doesn't sync to the grade book the way it does when you log on from a computer. So if you're working from your phone and you don't see the Learn-It grades syncing, just hop on from a computer so it will all update. So this is sort of what the course looks like on the outset. Now let me just show you the announcements. So for right now, you'll see this is where kind of all the class opening information is. I utilize announcements quite a bit to tell you important information. Usually it's the weekly to-do list. I'll give you like a tag, you're it, don't forget to do Yellow Dig this week, reminders about the live class, and then mini lessons. I like to use these really short 5-ish minute lessons to capitalize on some of the concepts that you're learning in the course, just in case they don't quite make sense. Sometimes it is helpful to have a person in front of you telling you about them. So make sure you're watching for those mini lessons. Now back to the home page. The next thing I want to show you, all of the assignments except for assignment 1 have study guides. The way to access those is to click on the actual assignment and then scroll down to the bottom of the description, and you'll see a link for a document that's called study guide. And then that will open for you. And I can't encourage you enough to open the study guides, because for each question in the study guide, I have all the possible concepts listed that you could use. So if you like to Google to find the answers, don't. go to your study guide. And believe it or not, I can tell when students Google because they're using concepts that are not on the study guide. So the concept you talk about may work, but it's not actually in our textbook. So use those study guides. And that again is available for all the assignments except for assignment 1 and the final assignment, which is a reflection. So do you have any questions about the way the actual course works as far as setup?
Not at
I have
all.
a question. Yeah.
Yes, go ahead. Question?
Okay, yeah, I have a question. So with the study guide, are we allowed to use the study guides for like our quizzes and stuff? Like, is that kind of, or is that the assignment that you're talking about?
Yes, that's the assignment. So the
Oh, okay,
assignments
gotcha.
are all short answer and they're in a quiz format. So yeah, use the study guide for those quizzes.
Okay, sorry, I was just getting confused on assignment and quiz. Sorry.
That's okay. Some of the language we use is so interchangeable that it makes perfect sense that it would be confusing. So good. I'm glad you asked. Now let me pull up this PowerPoint presentation to help us get bearings on where we're going. So this is all you need to do this class, is what I'm going to tell you right now. And I want you to think about getting an A. Really, really, really try to get an A in this class because you can. And that's why I like Brian so much, because you can resubmit as many times for mastery as you need to. And there is absolutely no reason why a student from Bryan University cannot graduate with a 4.0. So just keep resubmitting and go for that A. I have this tiny dream that one day I'll have one class where every single person gets an A+, 100%. And I just think that would be awesome to look at my final grades and see A. So do it for yourself, but do it for me too, okay? So what is this course? What are we doing in this course? I've already talked about, we're talking about interpersonal communication. We're going to spend weeks 1 through 4 building a foundation for the study of interpersonal communication. And then we're going to take the second half of the course, weeks 4-ish through 8, and apply a lot of the concepts that we've been learning. With the first half of the course, the first assignment you're going to do is a self-concept worksheet and plan. So the textbook elaborates on this really well, but in order to study interpersonal communication, it is really hard to get better at communicating with other people unless we understand how we communicate, what our self-concept is, what our dominant communication styles are, and knowing that helps us to better interact with other people. Now, when you open that very first assignment, it is personal. Now, caveat to that is, I don't really care about your personal life. I am more interested in seeing that you understand the concepts. So as you read these questions, you think, ugh, I don't really want to answer that. I don't really want her to read that. I don't want to send that over the internet. That is fine. So do apply it to yourself, but for the purpose of writing the assignment, you are welcome to make stuff up. You can pick a TV character and say, you know what, I'm going to write this based on Phoebe from Friends, or some popular crime show that you're watching. I don't care. What I need to see in all the assignments is that you understand the concepts and that you can apply them. So with regard to the first assignment, does that sound like a fair approach to you? Do you have any questions about that? No?
No question.
Okay, good. So that is kind of the way the course is going to go. The second half, we're going to get into conflict, and we're going to look at relationships. We're going to look at friendships, family, and professional working relationships. So it's really fun. Now, the assignment expectations, I request that students ask questions before you submit an assignment. What does that mean? Well, if you're looking at an assignment and you're like, oh gosh, I have no idea what I'm supposed to write for this, like none. Don't make anything up. Just ask me and I can tell you what to write. The reason I like for you to do that is because it saves you a lot of frustration and stress, and it saves time for both of us. So instead of just writing something that you think might be the answer, and then I have to write to you and explain why it's not the answer, we can cut out all that middle stuff and you can just ask me. If it happens to be Sunday night and your assignment is due, just wait. I'm happy to give you a due date extension. Ask me your question. let me answer it, and then submit your assignment on Monday or Tuesday. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, Ebony, do you have a question?
Yes, so are you saying that you want us to basically confer with you before we start with the assignment to make sure we understand?
No, I only want you to ask me a question if you don't understand. So I
Okay.
don't need to know that you do understand, but if something is confusing to you and you don't know the answer and you need help, reach out to me before you try to make something up. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good. All right, and then write the best that you can. This is sort of a writing heavy course, and some of you have had English already and some of you have not. So I just say write the best that you can. If you haven't already taken the English class at Bryan, I don't know about you, but it's been a long time since I have had an English class. And in fact, it wasn't until I started having to teach my children that I was like, oh, what's a preposition? Like, is there even such a thing as a preposition? What's a predicate? I don't understand. And so we start writing and talking intuitively without really knowing what those things are. So I'm not grading you based on your skillful writing. I'm only going to grade you based on your ability to show that you understand the concept. And a great way to do that is to look at a question. Now, if you are taking notes, this is a great time to jot this down. But if you look at a question and you see that it has more than 2 questions within one prompt, that's a pretty big clue that you're going to have more than one paragraph. Take the question, turn it into your topic sentence. So if the question is, what are the assignment expectations? You would say the assignment expectations are. Then provide the concept for whatever the question is asking, give a definition of the concept, and then provide a specific example. In every assignment, you are going to be asked to do specific examples. So whatever it may be, like assignment number 2 is a case study. If it's asking for specific examples, it's asking you to pull something directly from the case study. One of the dudes' name is Kevin. So talk about Kevin a little bit to explain a concept, or Sarah. In the 3rd assignment, we are using a scene from Erin Brockovich. It's a popular movie from, I think, the late 90s, early 2000s. And actually talk about Erin Brockovich, talk about the lawyer that's in the scene, use specific examples. And that's really important because it demonstrates your ability to synthesize the information. And it also highlights for me very quickly that you understand what we're doing in the course. Now let's talk about the Learn-Its. Learn-Its are in this class, and they're in every class that you take at Bryan. They're great because it helps you get stuff from your short-term memory into your long-term memory. It's kind of a game, so it has like this fun edge to it where you are seeing yourself achieve. One of the interesting things about general education classes is that the Learn-Its are at a set level 1. And that means they're a little bit longer than what you're used to in your other classes. Have you had any other general education classes yet? No. So the Gen Eds is like math, literature, English. So I'm sensing a no. Okay. So these take a little bit longer. So make sure that you give yourself time to do that. The first week, which is actually kind of 2 weeks for you because we get a holiday break, has 3 chapters in it. And I promise this is the longest week you're going to have with Learn-Its. One way to make those Learn-Its go faster for you is to take notes. There's something super special that happens between or in your brain when you're writing by hand. So there's like a there's a kinetic thing that happens that helps you know the material when you're actually writing it down from having seen it. So take notes when you're doing Learn-Its, write down the correct answers. Also, it makes it go faster because then you're not sitting there for a minute trying to remember what the answer is. You can look down at your paper and you can see what the answer is. Believe it or not, I do the Learn-Its for every single class that I teach. So I've gone through this process and I know what it's like to sit there and think, wait, is that social constructs, social contracts, social connections? Like I know the first word, but the second word could be either one of those. So if I've written it down, then I can go find it pretty easily. So do you have any questions about those three things before I talk about the late policy? Okay, so let's move on. All right, so the late policy is pretty simple. I do not deduct late points because math just isn't my thing. I don't want to think about that. So it's a lot easier for me, and it helps you get all your points if you could just turn things in before week 4 and before week 8. So the hardcore part is that everything from weeks 1 through 3 has to be turned in by week 4 to get full credit. If it is not turned in by week 4, the assignment becomes ineligible for credit, which means you get a 0. Now, activities 4 through 7, they can't go past week 8, meaning I have to post your final grade on a Friday. So all that material has to be turned in by that Wednesday at midnight. I understand there are extenuating circumstances, so if your life gets crazy, just let me know. I am more than happy to work with you, especially if you communicate with me. But these are the hard and fast due dates for the assignments. Okay? Great. So let's talk about response time. I've talked a whole lot about what I want from you, but what should you want from me? What do you want from an instructor? Well, one of the things I think that I want from my teachers is to respond to me. If I send you a question, I want you to answer it. If I have a life event happen, please acknowledge that it happened and that I'm going through some stuff right now, good or bad. So you can expect that I will respond to you within 24 hours. Text messaging is generally the best way to get in touch with me. I have already text messaged you plenty, so hopefully you have me in your thread. If more than 24 hours goes by and I don't get back to you, feel free to send me a reminder. That is so rare, but if it does happen, just let me know. I won't take it personally. Just ding, Kim, I need you to answer this question like 2 hours ago, okay? The other thing is on Sundays, I try to take a break. And if you aren't taking a break in your week, I really hope that you'll try to build one in. We all need time to rest. We need to turn our brains off or our bodies off, whatever it is that helps you feel rejuvenated and take a day. So if you try to get in touch with me on Sunday or Saturday afternoon, it is unlikely that I'll get back to you until Monday, unless it's something that's either A, an emergency, or B, short and quick that I can get back to you. Also, as far as grading, Bryan University gives instructors 5 days to grade assignments. I hardly ever go past 3 days. So you can expect to have your work received back within 72 hours of submission. The only time I go past that is when I'm absolutely slammed, like at the end of the semester, when there are several students who decide to turn in weeks 4 through 7 on Wednesday before grades are due. I know no one's ever done that, right? I do work better under pressure, so I get that part of it. So any question about response time? Good. Now let's talk about Yellow Dig. I have looked at Yellow Dig today and I see that some people really like it, and I'm jazzed about that. What are your feelings about Yellow Dig?
It's kind of like a Facebook, so it's kind of easy to, because I have like little link that I like copied on my phone, like on my the home screen on my phone. So I just tap like this icon thing and it goes to Yellow Dig. So it's kind of like my second Facebook.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good. I'm glad that you've made it accessible for yourself. That makes it easier. Anybody else?
I feel the same way. I think it's a good way to exchange with your classmates and be up to date with topics that's going on. So I actually enjoy Yellow Dig. I enjoy the Learnits too, for some reason, but so
Yeah.
I like it.
Good. That's encouraging. Do you have any words to offer, Jerome?
Yeah, I definitely would like to say that, Yellow Dig is, definitely a fun activity to do in online class, especially with Bryan. It's the first time I've heard about it since I've been here, but each class that I've had, it was, pretty exciting and fun.
Good. Well, that's really encouraging to hear. And I understand for those who don't enjoy Yellow Dig, why you don't, because it can feel like an extra thing. So I love that you all like it. And just to capitalize on that a little bit, Yellow Dig is really important because you're in an online environment. And when you are going to school solo and you are not regularly physically meeting with other people at a set time, it can be easy to feel like an island, like you're doing it on your own. And Yellow Dig provides a way to communicate with other students and know that you're not alone. Also, it is a great site for networking. So you're building relationships on Yellow Dig. You just never know when you're actually going to meet some of your classmates in person, or maybe in this virtual world, like you're a health and fitness professional and one person's on one side of the country and one person's on another side of the country, and you decide to build this YouTube amazing channel for fitness. And you brought that together because you met on Yellow Dig. It's just a really great tool for that. So along with using it as a tool for communicating and building on the concepts we're learning, you're getting graded for it. This course is worth 1,000 points. Yellow Dig is worth 200, so it's 20% of your grade. So if you do Yellow Dig, you're like already you're 20% of the way to the other 40% of passing the class. So just getting on there, spending 10 to 15 minutes a week will really help you. It's the easiest 200 points you can earn, honestly. So with that being said, I like to encourage students to earn as many points as possible. It should only take you about 15 to 20 minutes per week to max out your points. And you know that you've maxed out when you see the little line go across, right? It's yellow. And then suddenly it's blue, you've met the word count. And then you do that like 5 times. And then you see this magic window appear that says, ding, you've maxed out your points for the week. And then you've hit that buffer. And the buffer is like these little points, like your nest egg, so that if you do have a week where you can't get on as much as possible or at all, you still have those points in your nest that get applied to Yellow Dig. Now, because of the way Yellow Dig is calibrated, you will see your score go up and down. So seeing yourself max out each week is also another way just to give yourself some peace of mind that you're going to get that full 200 points. Also in this class, my feelings on Yellow Dig are let's have fun. So I post fun posts that I think should not take a ton of brain work, but just a way to get in there with these concepts and see application to real life and have fun with them. I also post throughout the week. So you'll see the weekly spark on Monday come up, and then on Saturdays, I do a Super Saturday post. So just by answering those two will really be helpful. And of course, you're welcome to answer those, but also post things for your classmates and see what they're thinking about different concepts. Cool? All right. So now finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, I'm going to talk to you about the model of communication, and you can leave this afternoon going straight into your life, seeing everybody differently than you've ever seen them before. It will be like being in the Matrix. Has anyone seen the fabulous Matrix films? Yes? No?
Yes.
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 Keanu Reeves when he was really cute, not old.
There's a new one out now too.
Is there?
There's a new one out now.
Awesome.
Yeah, it comes out.
It comes out, is it out yet? I thought it came out on the 24th or something like that.
I think it's
Oh,
I think
coming
it's
up.
December it comes out, like Christmas Day or Christmas
Okay,
Eve.
yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Awesome.
gonna be good.
Good. Good. So this is the model of communication. So you've probably never thought about all these things before, but we're doing them all the time. One cannot not communicate. So in this particular graphic, we are looking at 2 people. We'll call them Fred and Frank. You like my alliteration? Fred and Frank. So Fred and Frank are talking to each other, and they are doing the same thing at the same time. They are our communicators. One is sending a message and one is receiving the message. In the process of sending, we are encoding our words in a way that we think will help the other person to understand. So Fred is talking to Frank about their dinner plans, and he knows that Frank likes Mexican food. So Fred is like, hey, let's go get some tacos tonight at La Casita. So that gets encoded. And so what could Fred think beyond, hey, let's go get some tacos from La Casita? Yum, I love Mexican food. So that's what he heard. So let's get tacos, but he heard, yum, I love Mexican food. So he's decoding it in a way that makes sense to him. And then he's going to send messages back to Fred to say, yes, that sounds great. And what does the other guy hear? He hears, yes, he loves Mexican food too. So we're talking to people, we're encoding and decoding messages in ways that the other person can understand. Because at the end of the day, communication is about sense making. We want to be understood, and we want to know that the person listening is understanding in the way that we want them to understand. Have you ever been talking to your child and you say, I don't know, a simple command, go get the TV remote, right? How many
Every
people,
day.
yeah, you lose your TV remote on a daily basis, and you want some feedback from them to say, yes, I understand you. I am going to go find the TV remote. So that is where the feedback comes in. So we're letting people know that we hear them and we see them based on the feedback that we send. Now, within this model, we send our messages through various channels. We send our messages through verbal communication, like that simple command. Along with verbal communication, we use nonverbal communication. And we're going to dedicate 2 chapters, one to verbal and one to nonverbal communication, learning about how these coincide and how they contradict each other. Other channels we use are actually physical channels, like picking up your cell phone and calling somebody, or texting someone, sending a handwritten message, sending an email. So these are our channels. Now, the final part of this particular diagram is noise. So if you're thinking about giving your child a simple command, go find the TV remote, and they hear, go find the TV remote, what could be noise that would be getting in their way of finding that remote?
A toy going off.
A toy going off, things going off around them. What else?
The TV itself.
The TV itself, getting distracted by the actual show that's on. Maybe the vacuum cleaner's going. Maybe someone is blending a smoothie for their breakfast. Maybe your child doesn't hear you at all because they have psychological noise that is going on and they're thinking about something entirely and they're engrossed in it. Let's pick out another context. Let's say you're at a coffee shop having coffee with a friend and you're trying to talk to each other. What noise could be getting in the way of your communication?
Other people talking.
Yes, other people talking. I try so hard not to eavesdrop sometimes, but sometimes the people are talking so loud, it's so hard not to. What else?
Yeah, it's hard to be like, oh, well, here's my opinion on it, because you're like, I'm not supposed to be in the conversation.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, it's the general noise of the coffee shop. They play music. Usually there's people coming in and out of the door. What's going on outside? Maybe it's raining or snowing. Maybe there's sunlight streaming in the window and it's just really hard to see. That can be a form of noise. So this is the transactional model of communication. It's a give and it's a take. It's a process of encoding and decoding, sending these messages through channels in which we want them to be received, and competing with the noise around us. So I'm going to show you one more graphic. And this gets into context, and it shows it just a little bit differently. So we've got 2 communicators doing encoding and decoding. we have noise, and together they are trying to create meaning through their conversation. Now, going on in this whole co-creation of meaning are different contexts. So we have a physical and a psychological context that has to do with your actual body and your mind. So what is happening with you right now that is making it easier or harder for you to create meaning with the person that you're talking to? For example, psychologically, you could still be thinking about the argument you had earlier that day. So you're not really present with the person that you're with. Physically, maybe you're really hungry and you need to eat some food. So that's a context that comes into play. Let's bump this way on my screen and look at the cultural context. So communicating in the United States is not the same as communicating in Turkey. Does anyone know anything about Turkey?
No.
So you're going to learn a lot about intercultural communication in assignment 2. So in the United States, we're very individualistic. It's looking out for number one. And it's really like the I matters. But in Turkey, they have a collectivistic culture where it's all about the group. The I is not nearly as important as the success of the group. So if I'm trying to talk with someone about something that is really meaningful to me, they may not understand it because they're approaching it from a completely different cultural context. Sometimes religion offers a different cultural context. Someone who is, let's say, Buddhist is not going to see the world the same way that someone who is Catholic. Would you agree with that if you know anything about those two religions?
Yes.
Good.
I
So
agree.
yeah, so we have those things that are at interplay in our communication. Relational context, talking with an adult is not the same as talking to a child. Talking to your manager is not the same as talking to your coworker. So we have different levels of relationship that are happening. And then quickly moving over to social context has to do with what are the terms of our relationship and where are we right now? If I'm going to communicate with you like at a doctor's office, what are the kind of like the terms of communication in a doctor's office?
Like, what do you mean?
Well, okay, well, so let me give you the opposite. You see a friend in a doctor's office, you're both sitting in the lobby. You see a friend in a grocery store, you're both standing in produce. How are you going to talk to your friend differently in the doctor's office versus in the grocery?
Because people can hear you more, I guess, in the grocery store than in the doctor's office. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you won't be as loud in the doctor's office as you would in the produce.
That's right. Yeah. And also in a doctor's office, you might make an inference that, oh, are you sick? Like, what's going on? Why are you in the doctor's office? And your friend's like, well, why are you in the doctor's office? Are you sick? Versus in a grocery store in the produce aisle, what would you be talking about there?
Dinner. What
Dinner?
we're making for dinner.
No.
Or what happened yesterday.
Yeah, hey, I haven't seen you for a while. How are things? These apples are on sale. I just love Honeycrisp apples. Right? So, and can you believe we're doing this all the time? All these things are present all the time. So that is why interpersonal communication, or the study of it, is so important, because it makes us more conscious of these things. Not that we are ever going to go see someone and pull out our textbook and be like, hey, wait a second, I got to see what context I'm in so I know how to communicate with you right now. No, but we are going to become better at this and see the world a little bit more clearly, because we're going to have tools to name the things that we're doing. So that is really the end of this 5 class. I hope that you found it informative, and I hope that you feel better about what we're getting ready to do over the next 8 weeks. Do you have any questions at all?
No, I don't. My apologies. I had some distractions.
You had some noise?
Yeah, definitely some noise like the coffee shop.
Okay, no problem. That's okay. That's why it's recorded. You can listen again.
Right.
Yeah, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions. I'm here to help.
Oh, I do
Absolutely.
have a question. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Are we, like, the diagrams and stuff that you had on the slideshow, are we allowed to get those through like a link or something, or can you post them on?
I'm gonna post the recording. Do you want the actual pictures?
Yeah, like the little diagram thing.
Sure, yeah, I can just post those in the announcements as pictures, and then you can copy them. Yeah,
Cool, thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Anything else? Okay,
The diagrams were pretty cool. I really like those.
oh, good. Good. All right, well, that's a wrap. I don't have anything else. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to meet with me and get busy on this course. It's gonna be fun. Okay,
Thank you for explaining things and like clarifying a couple of things.
you're welcome. It's my pleasure. All right, well, have a great day. And as a reminder, we are off next week. So you can take this, remember it, and we'll jump back in the new year.
Thank you very much. And it was nice meeting everyone.
Nice to meet you too.
y'all.
You guys take
Happy
care.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye.